Inside the 40-year-long Dungeons and Dragons game.
Game of D&D you started when you were 11? What if it... Remember that game of D&D you started when you were 11? What if it never stopped?
My name is Robert Wardoff. I'm a history professor at the University of Western Ontario. I am a dungeon master for a campaign that has been going on for 40 years.
What began in
That's
secret
so
with
awesome.
a few friends has turned into a game that takes up much of Robert's life and most of his house.
Wow.
Robert has around 30,000 hand-painted figurines, countless
Wow.
custom-made pieces of terrain, and dozens of devoted players taking part in
What a
his
DM.
campaign.
If you're going to keep a game going for 40 years, it's going to have to be a good game. If you're going to have people who are going to want to play and are going to want to fly in, you're going to have to offer a product.
I wonder how much the
that is
players
gonna
have
be
changed. It seems
better
like this
than
is the
all
only,
other alternatives that are out
maybe
there.
the only
I
guy
can
who's
certainly
stayed in
say
it
with
the whole time.
confidence that this is the best Dungeons and Dragons game in the world.
Damn. Yeah, this guy looks like he puts a lot of effort. What was he, a professor of what?
So if I'm playing for 10 hours a week,
Most of his house. Robert,
master for a campaign that has been going on for 40 years.
what began in
City of Western Ontario. I am a
History
dungeon master.
professor?
I'm a history professor at the University
takes a div-
of I'm playing for 10 hours a week at 52 weeks in a year. That means
10 hours a
doing
week
that
isn't
times
that
40,
crazy.
That would be 20,800 hours.
How many minutes is that?
So if I figured that out in minutes, that would end up being 1.24 million minutes, I think. As you crest the ridge,
A homemade
there seems to
AC?
be quite a commotion.
Hopefully it'll be all right.
Estimated
We should be
as many
getting
as
a replacement like
2
this
dozen
week,
or
I
so
think, but-
goblins. You surprise them as much as they have surprised you. I need a surprise roll.
He's got a whole ass room and everything
That's
with a
really
TV.
just the start. Almost every major decision in Robert's life is designed to keep the game
This
going.
seems so cool, dude.
When I was buying a house, the most important part for me
Yeah, was to have a D&D
getting
room.
gaming space that I could use.
Yep.
My entire basement.
That's
is
not really
my
that
gaming
abnormal.
area.
If he doesn't slow down,
A lot of
he's
people
gonna
will
need
shop for a house and they need a room for something specific, like whatever their hobby or job is. So that's not really like that crazy, you know? It's like, oh my god. He was thinking about it when he bought his house, you know? It's like, well, no shit. Everyone does that. Musicians want a place to play music in their house. Artists want a place to do art. You know, fucking... Yeah.
a bigger house.
You know, like therapists and
I'm
stuff want a
Muffin.
place to
I've
have
got
clients.
Orcs, I've got elves, I've got dwarves, I've got all the basic things that you'd expect, but I also have very distinct and unique figs. I have vampires, I have undead, I have zombies, I have
That's-
werewolves.
dude, look
the
at some of
older
these, man. They're going through them so fast. I guess there's so many,
variety of
but
it, the
nice. This is cool. Yeah, I wonder how many times he's used this thing. There's no way this has come up very much because like this is a fucking like legendary monster like in D&D, I think, you know? Like you don't just fight these every day. This is like some like end of a long motherfucking campaign that came after several other campaigns way before it. And like, you know what I mean? Like,
mother of all dragons, all the big demonic lords.
damn, these things are actually, these look big. How big are these? I wish there was like a fucking banana for scale.
From the Demogorgon,
Kraken. That's one of the strongest monsters in D&D, I'm pretty sure. The
but also
Demogorgon!
heroes. So all the great kings and queens of countries, the high-level wizards, all of these things. My goal is to have everything.
But what's the point of having so many figures?
This man is obsessed, dude.
Amazing terrain to place them on. Robert has no shortage in that department either.
I need to be able to adapt to wherever the
Hold
Robert
on.
has no shortage in that figurines if you don't have any
My goodness.
amazing terrain to place.
He's just got all this stuff he can just like pop in too when he
them
wants it.
on.
It's all like
Robert has no
moddable, you know?
shortage in
Look how cool this looks.
that department
Got a
either.
little camera
I need
there.
to be able
Ah,
to adapt to wherever the party's going to go. That means that I need to have my green terrains. I
Right,
need
because
to
the
have
players
mountain
choose.
terrains. I need to have all of my winter terrain, my arid desert terrains, my water terrains. If they're going to go into a town, now I need a town, okay, are they in a Roman town? Are they in an Anglo-Saxon town? Are they in an African town? Is it high medieval? Is it low medieval? So now I'm trying to be able to put out a village or a town for
This
every
guy
one of
is
these historical
fucking-
settings.
Holy shit. Damn! My god, dude, like how much time does it take just to make this, you know what I mean? And it's like, this, all these things by themselves are probably not used that frequently, you know what I mean? He's got so much shit that He's not like, he doesn't have to reuse anything that much. You know what I mean? He can wait for like a real true Colosseum, a stone Colosseum that looks very like Roman or whatever, right? To use that. He probably has other Colosseums for other kinds of looking Colosseums and stuff. So it's like, he probably spends, you know, I don't know, dozens or hundreds of hours making just this and probably rarely uses it. It's fucking awesome though, man. Like, the players that get to play with him are like lucky. Like, he should like charge people for playing with him. I wonder if he does that. I wonder if it's like a service almost where it's like, yeah, you gotta like reserve a spot, you know, like in the game, and then like wait for someone to drop out, and then you get to do it. Let me turn my lights up a little bit. This is so cool though.
I can't put figurines on the table unless they are painted up to a certain level. That means that someone's got to do a heck of a lot of painting. And so
I want to know if this guy's
ends up being
married or
me.
has a
If
family,
you
you
found
know?
me on an average day working on the game, you'd probably see me in my painting room, and I'm going to be spending 2, 3, 4 hours painting figs.
And do people
Figs.
take their figs home?
No, no. Nobody is allowed to take their figurines home. Nobody is actually allowed...
Wait, so he makes figurines for the players too? I guess it's kind of cool. If he's got certain standards, he's not going to be like, yeah, make your own figurine, because he's going to like be like, nah, this sucks. I can do it better, you know? Like, this
to touch the
guy...
figs on the table. So that's also something
This
that
guy cares a lot.
A person who played Dungeons and Dragons would probably come to my table and they would immediately reach over to grab their fig. I'm probably going to growl at them and tell them, don't touch the figs because I have to move everything. I'm sure my critics
So
would
he
say that
does
there's a
it.
God complex going on about that. This here is the
So what, you just tell him like, I want to do this, and then he'll move it for you, I guess?
figurine of the demon lord Orcus. It's well known to Dungeons and
Orcus.
Dragons. And in my campaign, 100 years ago, which would be in actual time something like maybe 1989, the group banished this demon. So they thought that's fine. Only recently, last year actually, the demon's back. They don't know where he is.
That's so crazy, dude. In 1989, which they have already been playing, so 40 years, right? So what we're talking about, 1981 or 2 or something, right? When they started. 8 years later, they're 8 years deep into a campaign. They fucking kill this like demon. What the fuck was he? A demon god or whatever? Yeah, some demon. 1989. So 30 years later, right? Yeah, 30 some years later. This guy brings us back, dude. Like, not even like a TV show can claim they've done that. You know what I mean? Like, TV shows will like have several seasons and several years go by, and then, oh my god, they bring someone back or whatever. World of Warcraft has done that, right? World of Warcraft has been around for like 20 years, right? Or whatever. I guess more than that, 25 or so. And they've brought things back, but still it's like only after 10 or 15 years. This guy's bringing shit back from 1989, dude.
He is. They're desperately
That's so
trying to
cool.
find him, and he's definitely up to no good.
While fantasy role-playing and nerd culture are often celebrated today, Robert's campaign started during a time when people felt like they needed to play in secret.
In the 80s and 90s, it was certainly more difficult to try to talk about or explain the game to people. I grew up in a very small
Why were people
town.
against
It
it?
was quite
That's
a
so weird.
conservative town. And so the town inevitably found out that we were playing, and they didn't know what the heck
The
we were
town
doing.
found out we were
Dungeons and Dragons
playing.
had very bad press at the time.
Tonight we begin with a story about make-believe adventure and real-life violence, and what some critics fear is a connection between the two in a game called Dungeons and Dragons.
Oh my
A movie came
god,
out while
dude.
we were playing called Mazes and Monsters. And it's a
People
story-
were saying some dumb shit like this before video games even existed, dude, or before they were big. I didn't know that, dude. Like, I thought the argument started with like video games making you violent, but people fucking thought D&D made you violent, dude. What the fuck
of
is
how
this?
they play this game, and then they try to act it out in real life, and basically bad things certainly happen.
Because of a movie. Is that Tom Hanks?
On my travels here, I heard him.
What's now called the Satanic Panic was going on at the time. Why does my son want to play this game all the time?
Fantasy
Why is he
game
obsessed
slaying
about
of
it? What are you
boy?
doing to him? Are you a cult leader? I got called a cult leader, a communist, like all these crazy labels. When I watched Stranger Things, it obviously hit home for me.
It is almost here. What is it?
What if it's the Demogorgon?
Oh Jesus, we're so screwed if it's the Demogorgon.
It's not the Demogorgon.
The whole concept matched exactly what we were doing in the early 1980s.
Over the following
Yeah, that was
decades,
like literally
Robert
this
went on to
guy.
build a campaign
He's
of
probably a little bit
unrivaled
older maybe
complexity.
then, but
One of the things
maybe
that
not,
makes
actually, I
my
don't
game
know.
unique is the story and the depth of the campaign. My world is
I can
an
only imagine.
alternative fantasy
Is this
version.
not documented yet? Like, are they not doing like a podcast or something? Like someone, when did this video come out actually? Okay, so very recently. If this is the first time this has gone like public or someone's done like a big story on this, which is probably not. I doubt Wired was the first one to find them, 40 years into this or something, but maybe. But it's like, you gotta think that someone by like, at least after this video, if not before this, has reached out to him and been like, dude, I would love to publish this. Like, let's record this and put it on YouTube or, make it a podcast. I don't know.
Of
Right?
historical Earth within other alternative is the
I
story
wanna hear
and
this,
the
actually.
depth of the campaign. My world is an alternative fantasy version of historical Earth within other historical aspects added to it. So if somebody comes in and they want to go to Athens, I can now bring in that history, philosophy, religion into the game. I'm able to create when I need to create, come up with totally new races, totally new nations, totally new cultures, totally new mythologies, but also to use what the world already has.
A typical dungeon master curates the quest
That's
for
cool.
a handful of players over the course of a few months. Robert, meanwhile, is tracking the adventures of more than 50 players, with story arcs that often span decades.
Since the beginning, there's probably been about 500 characters that have been made and played within the
Wow,
game.
cool
When
drawings.
a new player comes in, I'm inviting them to play a game that they're going to be welcome to keep playing until I die. So you could start a character, 9 generations later, that family could take over, let's say, the Roman Empire. On one level, you're playing that individual character. On a macro level, you're also controlling the Roman Empire.
Okay,
there
so
are
I was wondering,
numerous
he
story
said
arcs that
stuff
are-
about like, oh yeah, 100 years ago in game, and I was wondering, I was like, what, does everyone just live forever? Or like, but I guess maybe the players, their characters are aging, and he's keeping track of that shit. And at the very least, they're gonna die of age, right? And then I guess you can choose, some of these players maybe choose to, they choose an heir, I guess, in a way, for the player, and they can play their characters' children or whatever.
Going on. Many of those last for
That's
generations.
cool.
There's love stories, romances, there's quests, there's vengeance. All these things are happening. So even though there is this large campaign quest, this large ultimate goal, you've got literally thousands of subplots and sub-campaigns going on.
Literally thousands, he says.
From the beginning, Robert quickly learned which rules could be bent and which rules could be broken.
When we started playing, there was probably a short period of time when I played according to the actual rules, but after that, I had to fill in holes.
That's
and so I
good.
developed my own rule system.
I
and
think
I've
that's
never really
great.
gone back. So I have what gamers would call
I think
a
every
homebrew rule
DM
system.
probably
And
wants to
that-
do things a little bit different from, I think that's totally fine. This guy certainly has the experience to probably make some
See,
good
that's how
rules
the
of his
game was
own.
intended. When the game first came out, one of the lines in the Dungeon Master Guide told you that these are a set of rules, but to apply these loosely. And
Yeah.
within my game and my world, there are all kinds of different aspects that you wouldn't see in an ordinary Dungeons and Dragons rule system. My rules are
Let's
fast,
hear some of 'em.
They're quick flowing. People don't have to stop and check things. And that speed of gameplay is
Wow.
something that I find so different in my game from ordinary Dungeons and Dragons.
Robert strives to keep the stakes as high as possible for his players, especially when it comes to life and death consequences for their characters.
People have to be
I
rolling their
want
own
death to
dice,
mean
though. He's
something. I
not.
don't want this to be like
You
a
gotta let
video
people
game
roll their
that
own
you
dice.
simply hit the reset button, and you're just going to start a new character. So when your character dies, if you don't have any other characters, then you're out of the game. The game's over for you. And so when characters die or bad things happen, I have seen grown men weep at the table. And that's something also. People who don't play are a bit
That's probably hard to
disturbed if
watch.
They hear that somebody who's been playing a character for a long time weeps at the table. But I'm trying to create emotion. I'm trying to create excitement. People are scared. And knowing that if you die, you could be out of the game, or that character that you put so much time in is now dead. Obviously, people's heart rates are up. There's emotion going on. So I can't be shocked and surprised when that character dies that there's a show of emotion.
Hey, I'd probably fucking cry too, dude. I'd probably cry too.
I have one daughter, and ever since she was a baby, she's been around this. I think maybe when she was
Well,
6
she
or
looks
7
surprisingly,
was
like,
the
normal.
first time when she asked whether she could play. So she created a character as a fairy, and she still plays
Of
now.
course she
She's
wants to
20 years
play,
old.
yeah.
I
What
mean,
kid- what
obviously,
kid
there's other stuff
wouldn't
going
wanna
on
play
in her
with their
life,
dad?
but she's been playing all the way through. The interesting thing happens when she starts dating, and then her boyfriend wants to play. And of course, I have to tell her straight up to go. Now, this relationship may not last forever, but the game's gonna last forever. So get ready, because I'm anticipating a situation when you break up with him, I can't break up with him. So once I allow somebody to come into the game, I'm never ever gonna stop them from playing the game. So sure enough, that situation happened. And so it can be a little bit awkward at times, but it means a lot to.
Oh no, dude. I was gonna say, like, what if the guy doesn't want to play anymore? But I guess, like, because he didn't say that, he said, like, I'm never gonna stop them. So it's not like he's like, I was like wondering, I was like, you said like you can make the dude play, but it sounds like the ex like wants to keep playing. He's like, so into it, but it's like they're obviously not dating anymore, and he's just not gonna say no to that because.
To be able to have my daughter play the game and to have her interested in the game, and she obviously knows what the game means to me, for sure. I think
He
there's an
looks the
assumption that
fucking
at some
same,
point
dude.
we're all going to grow up and we're going to stop playing games. And so people always say, how does your game end? How's it going to end? And it's like, well, my answer is always, how does the world end? How is your world going to end? Well, it's probably going to end when I die. Well, for you it is, right? And so the answer is largely the same. It's much like life.
Dude, he needs
More
to
than
find
anything
that
else,
fucking
the
successor,
game
dude.
represents friendship. And I find that friendship is based on planks. You
Wonder if
need
his
something to hold
daughter could do
together.
it.
So we may have gone to high school together, but as we go through our lives, unless we have a plank, we're not going to get together. We're not going to fly to see each other. So as long as I can keep doing it, hopefully for all of my life, I won't lose my friends. My basement's my sanctuary. It's a place.
I'm
that
sure
I can
this
come
guy's
and I
campaign
can-
and stuff, like, he could probably get almost anyone to enjoy D&D. Like, I mean, I think a wide, like, you know, spread of kinds of people already like and play D&D. So, like, some of the shots we're seeing of, like, you know, the players in this video, like, it's not like it's hard to imagine that they play D&D. I'm not saying they look like they don't play, but it just makes me think, like, looking at them, it's like, I bet you could, I wouldn't be surprised to see almost anyone in the background of these photos. I feel like this guy could get my mom to get, like, really into D&D almost. And my mom, like, has never been into gaming, dude. I've tried so many times to get her to, like, be interested in gaming. She doesn't even, like, she's never even asked questions or anything. She just, like, has zero interest at all and always has in, like, video games. Or I mean, just games. I mean, she likes board games, I guess, but, you know, that's about it.
Almost as soon as I walk down here, I am in a different world, and it opens up all the doors of creativity. I don't ever intend on stopping playing, on stopping painting, on stopping building, and on stopping bringing my friends together to play the game. I don't ever intend on quitting.
Yeah, of course not. I mean, he's going for 40 years. What would stop him now? That's crazy. Can we not, like, oh yeah, follow the game here? I was gonna say, like, this has got to be documented somewhere at this point, dude. Like, come on. What do we have here? They have an Instagram. Is there not a better way? It's just Instagram? Continually run campaigns since 1982. 1 to 2 sessions a week. 20,000 figurines and terrain pieces. I've got some friends I gotta show this shit, dude. Look at this town. God, this is so cool, dude. Oh my god. Wonder what the camera is for. Does he, like, record these, I guess, himself? Or we've seen that camera a couple times. He's only got, like, one, though. Wow, this is sick. A little jungle kind of thing. Man, this is incredible. Little dungeon. Desert. That's some dune shit right there. Holy fuck, man. This is so goddamn cool. And the thing is, like, he worked for all this. It's not like it's like money or whatever. He just bought all this cool stuff. Like, this dude just worked his ass off to do all this himself. It's like, this is all handmade, like homemade. I mean, well, I guess hand painted and stuff, you know? I mean, he probably bought, obviously the figurines, I don't think he's modeling the figurines, he's just painting them. And I don't really know how all the terrain works, how much of it is made by him or just painted, but still. Incredible amount of work. Like, I don't think you could just go buy all this if you wanted to. A lot of this is like, you can't buy this shit. He's made it. Custom. One of a kind. So this isn't really following the game. I wish like there was a way to... I mean, it's cool. I would love... God, this is so cool. Holy shit, look at this tower he made. Oh my god, man. This guy's an artist. Like, he's an absolute artist. Like, I wonder how much of this is custom, you know? Like, is this... How did he make this? Like, I doubt he bought the tower... Well, I don't know. Did he buy the tower like this and paint it? Or is this custom made? I don't really know. Either way, simply awesome, dude. So cool. Let's go to their linker. YouTube sessions, here we go. There's the Wired video. There's a podcast.
Because, okay, 5 or 6 boys, they're not out getting into trouble. Smoking when I was a kid, that had
So this is just like a long fucking interview or something.
official Dungeons and Dragons, I guess.
Maps, yeah.
Have maps. Do the other players?
They probably don't put everything. Yeah, he's got like such few subs. How is this possible? When did this video come out again? It was like a month ago or whatever. Yeah. How many videos does he have total? Yeah, that's why he hasn't really put up a lot. 3 years ago, I guess he posted a lot and then he kind of stopped. I wonder why.
You don't have to roll, okay? And okay, you pull the sword back out again. Okay. What are you doing, Dina?
Not never-ending streaming. This was a one-off session for broadcast. We aren't broadcasting every session. Huh. Yeah. I guess they just tried it out and didn't really like it or something.
That is the gist.
Oh, there's his daughter playing.
You guys' names were Santos Suspito,
And this is so cool. Yeah, someone needs to fucking... I mean, I don't know. He's been doing this for a long time his way. And I think guys like this, they want to do shit their way, their rules, all that. I'm sure people are reaching out to him being like, I want to produce a show. Like, let's do this. You know? D&D, I feel like D&D content is somewhat big. Like, there's a market for that. You know what I mean? Especially one with this level of... So, like, what's it called? Critical Role. I don't watch a lot of Critical Role. But I don't think they quite have sets like this, right? I mean, I know they recently have like an Amazon show now, which is pretty next level. But I've watched some Critical Role, at least I watched it years ago, and it was all verbal. And they do a great job because they've got all the voice actors and everything, and Mercer's a beast. But I don't think they quite have sets like this, right? Like, this might be something new that the internet hasn't really gotten a chance to see yet. I think people would like this, but I don't know, man. Anyway. Podcast... Dragon's Talk. I'm guessing this is not a D&D podcast. This is probably just like an interview, right? Yeah. Another interview. And then they have a website. Which is probably just kind of like, yeah, some information and... Yeah. Okay. Well, I'm going to follow them on Instagram. And hopefully they maybe reappear on YouTube or something. That'd be cool. That's fucking dope. What a cool video.